Hello, Research Triangle High School. Welcome back from vacation. We'd like to take just a little bit of your time in seminar today to review some of the things from 2013 and to give you a really good solid start on 2014. So welcome back to school. So the purpose of your little mini lesson for seminar today is a chance to reflect on some of the successes and maybe some of the challenges that you had in the first semester. We hope to help you set some new goals for 2014 and have a plan for finishing strong on this school year. Now, you may remember back at the beginning of the year with our seminar, one of our lessons talked about the 7 habits of highly effective and highly defective teens. And these were overall goals that were based on some of the Stephen Covey principles, which we talked about. Stephen Covey was a psychologist who wrote a very famous book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So we'd like to talk today a little bit about some of the 7 habits of highly effective Raptors and maybe some of the 7 habits of the highly defective Raptors. We've noticed some trends with students who have done very well from the first semester. Our highly effective Raptors developed respectful relationships with their teachers, asked for help and tried again. They used their time really well in school. They worked on putting their first things first. They developed respectful friendships with their classmates. They used the technology available to help them succeed, and they respected the goals of the school. And some of the students who really struggled last year are Raptors who were maybe a little less successful. We found a lot of time complaining and blaming teachers in hard classes. They tended to ignore their grades and then just give up at the last minute, would often waste their time in school, procrastinate on work, sometimes chose unsupportive friends or spend their time gossiping and not creating healthy relationships. They allowed the tech in school to distract them, and then they saw the demerit system as a punishment rather than a chance to change. And we're going to examine each one of these in just a little more detail in some of the upcoming slides. So let's break these habits down one by one. And as we do this, I want you to be thinking about things that you did, yes, you, last semester, and be thinking about some very specific ways that you were either part of the effective raptor population or maybe part of the defective side that didn't get as much done as they really had hoped to. So the first habit had to do with relationships that you were able to build with the staff and the adults around you. So an effective student worked really hard to build respectful relationships with their teachers and with all the adults in the building. They listened, they showed gratitude and thanked their teachers for what they were trying to do. They kept an open mind, even if they thought an assignment might be boring or a class might not be the thing that they were the most interested in. They still tried to find something to learn from it, and they asked questions and they tried their best. More ineffective behavior included things like blaming the teachers. Oh, I just can't get anything from him. Hard classes, that's too tough, I can't do that. For their own failures, so they blamed the other people rather than themselves if they ran into trouble. They complained about things. They saw teachers as being more in their way rather than someone who could actually help guide them through the curriculum and the material. They ignored the people in the building and didn't appreciate what people might be trying to do for them. The second habit has to do with getting help. Our effective students check their grades in PowerSchool weekly to help keep track of their progress, asked for help if they felt like they needed it, and it might either be in person or just sending a teacher an email with a question. They requested or attended tutorial sessions or review opportunities that teachers might have provided. And they understood that even though things might be hard, that hard work and practice really did pay off, and they were willing to keep trying. And if something wasn't working, they tried something new and said, well, maybe I need to study a different way instead of just keep doing the same thing I was doing. A more ineffective habit included ignoring grades until the very last minute and then being surprised and then maybe complaining about grades to teachers. Didn't understand how ignoring all those small daily assignments like those little homework things or watching a video could really impact your grades in the long run. And figuring at the last minute especially that, oh, you're never going to succeed, you're just never going to be good at this, and just giving up rather than keeping trying. Habit number 3 is about time management. Effective Raptors got to class early, took some time to settle in, read the board, figure out what they needed to do, get their materials ready so they didn't lose any moments of class time. They paid attention at the beginning of class and at the end of class to make sure they had the homework. In seminar, they used their time to watch the assigned videos. When they got home, they had set time planned every day to do the homework that they needed to do or time to review every day before they got the TV on or started playing video games. Basically, this is the idea of putting first things first. And the more ineffective behaviors included things like hanging out in the hallways with your friends until the last possible minute, then sliding into your seat if you could, watching the clock the whole time, hoping that maybe you weren't too late, leaving class the minute that the teacher said, okay, we're done here, rather than stopping and checking to see what the work was and what you needed to have ready for the next day, playing on the computer during seminar before doing any of their work. When they got home, relaxing, hang out, just chill, nap, whatever, do anything else before starting work. And when you did start work, you started it late, when you were tired or rushed. Basically, you put first things last. Habit number 4 has to do with your friendships and your classmates. Effective behaviors including developing respectful relationships with your classmates, learning how to work with people even if they were different from yourself in their attitude and their approach to life, keeping an open mind about people until you really got a chance to know them, and learning, try to learn about what it is that, look for something good in each person you met and be as kind as you could. Successfully working with other students, even if they're not your best friends, they could still be good work partners. Ineffective behaviors, including hanging out with people who didn't support your own goals and your values, gossiping, spreading rumor, judging and hating on people who just seem to be different than you, deciding there were just some people in your class that you just can't work with them. I'm just not dealing with them. Rather than trying to look for some kind of common ground and a way to work, even if you're not going to be besties your whole life. Habit number 6 is the use of technology. Obviously, technology is a hallmark of Research Triangle High School, and effective Raptors were able to use the technology to help them be successful. They used them to check their grades, to check their email daily, to keep up with their assignments in Moodle, to watch and rewatch the videos to get the most out of this flip system that they possibly could, to keep a calendar or other planner, either in Google Calendar or some other system, to help you keep track of your goals and deadlines. Ineffective, however, the technology becomes your worst friend. These are people who just seem to use the tech all the time for selfies, chatting, checking their Twitter timeline, making sure they're kept up in Insta and their Ask accounts, watching videos that had nothing to do with school, YouTube, replays of sporting events, playing video games online, only half paying attention in class because you're so busy doing other stuff on your phone or Facebook or your chat window that you miss half of what's going on in class. So think about your use of technology last semester and how it can be your best friend or your worst enemy here at RTHS. And the final habit has to do with your goals and your own expectations for yourself. Effective students, the effective habit is respecting the goals of the school, and how what we're doing here is trying to prepare you for the professional world and the way you talk to other people, the way you dress and present yourself, the way you react and the way you behave. Welcoming feedback from teachers or either friends or other groups in your classrooms, might even be criticism as a chance to change, to grow and to improve. Having high expectations for yourself, both academically and personally, not settling for, the way you've always been, but looking for that chance to change and to grow. Ineffective behaviors and habits, including seeing the school expectations as just getting in your way of your personal style, saying, well, that's just how I am, I'm just going to be like this, in the way that you spend your time, you talk to the people, or even the way you dress. You saw demerits as punishment rather than a chance to change your behavior. Reacting to feedback or even criticism negatively by lashing out or just deciding to ignore it all. So now it's your turn. You can scroll back through this video to look at the habits a little bit more closely, but your seminar teacher is going to give you a handout with some specific questions to answer. And we'd like you to think back on each of these 7 habits and how your first semester went, and answer these questions, specifically for you, how this really applies for you. Then you're going to give these answers to your seminar teacher when you're done, and your seminar teacher is going to use this when we sit down and do grade conferences with you when the report cards come out shortly. You have a chance to really look back on how you're doing academically And you can look at these habits as how that they are either helping you meet all of your goals and expectations for 2014 so that you don't have any obstacles to those successes that we know that you want and that we want for you. And that's it. Happy New Year.